Welcome into First and 10 alongside Joe Emer. I'm Simone Eli, and believe it or not, it's already Week 10.
Yes, it is. Coming up, highlights from a ton of games, literally 2,000 pounds worth of highlights. That equals one time. We'll also preview the first round of the playoffs in just a bit.
All right, first let's get started with our game of the week.
The Battle of Old Shell Road dates back to 1978, St. Paul's and UMS Wright.
Yeah, Joe, and get this, the series is tied 17-17, so someone tonight is going to get an edge in the rivalry. Our Russell Colburn joins us live now. What's up, Russell?
Hey guys, like you said, they've been playing this one since 1978. Why is that a significant year? Well, Joe Emer, at the ripe age of only 16 then, went to get his driver's license, and just like that fateful day, the Bulldogs offense here tonight couldn't sustain a drive. Let's go to the highlights here. We had A.J. McCarron and Catherine Webb in the building, although Catherine was as camera shy as Joe after a big meal. St. Paul's first possession, Miller Mosley on the bootleg. He's trying to get things going, like I said, first possession, but he's intercepted by Kendrell Pirine. Looking good for the Bulldogs early, but they couldn't get anything going on offense. So what do? St. Paul's on the next drive, they hand the ball to Austin McPherson. Good idea. McPherson, he fears no one. Breaking tackles down into the red zone, and from there, he'll punch it in himself. That's your game's first score, 7-0, and if things are working, why change them? McPherson takes the ball again on the next drive, goes all the way down the field, and he'll have a short yardage situation to clean up there, 14-0, McPherson's second score. The score stays that way up until the third quarter here. You'll have Mosley picked by Kyle Pugh Jr., 14-0 at the half, but into the third quarter, fourth quarter, McPherson again from short yardage pounds it in on a St. Paul's drive that takes up nearly the whole fourth quarter. Then St. Paul's would score again on a fumble recovery for a touchdown. 28-0 is your final, and St. Paul's wins the Battle of Old Shell Road. Coach, you told me Wednesday at practice. This is Steve Mask, head coach of St. Paul's. He told me at practice, ignore classification.
Absolutely.
You were trying to tell your boys this is a good football team. What did they show you tonight, both teams?
Well, I think both teams showed a lot of heart and guts. It was a very, very physical football game, and give our kids a lot of credit because we turned it into a pounding game, and that's what we ended up doing. So, very proud of the effort there offensively and defensively, and give UMS a lot of credit. They hung in there because we were showing up pounding there in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, you chewed up pretty much the whole second half with your ground game. How impressed were you by McPherson and company tonight?
Well, I'm very impressed with him. He tweaked his ankle a little bit and thought about taking him out. He said, I'm not coming out. So we retaped that and went out there and did that. And then Austin Mosley had a great night running football, too. Good little 1-2 punch right there. So I'm very pleased with that. And I thought our offensive line made a statement in the fourth quarter because I've been on them pretty good about making a statement. They showed me they made a pretty good statement.
Coach, we'll let you enjoy this one tonight. But Demopolis next week at home. What do you know about them?
Well, it's a tough first-round draw for us. I mean, they're historically a factor in the playoffs. I think they got beat the quarterfinals last year by the eventual state champion. So they're going to bring it. They got 3 Division I players on their team and a lot of tradition. So it's a tough first-round matchup, but we'll be up for it.
Coach, thank you very much.
Thank you, Russell.
All right.
See y'all. Thanks.
Congratulations. So St. Paul's wins it. 18-17 is your Battle of Old Shell Road series. Let's go back to you guys.
More importantly, Russell, I do have word on Catherine Webb. She is wearing a tank top and a miniskirt at a local Hardee's eating a burger in slow motion.
I thought about walking by her with a cheeseburger I bought at the concession stand, but I don't know if it wasn't Hardee's. I don't know if she'd even partake.
All right, man.
Y'all ain't right. Anyways, thanks, Russell. Now here's a look at the Bulldogs playoff outlook. UMS will host Hanley in the first round of the 4A state playoffs. Hanley was the 4th qualifier out of Region 3 for 4A. Now down at the bottom of this, you see Thomasville traveling to 6th-ranked Dadeville in round 1. Dadeville is the number 1 qualifier from Region 3, undefeated in region play.
Speaking of which, Thomasville and Jackson both have punched their tickets to the postseason. Jackson at home tonight, trying to bring home a perfect 10-0 regular season. Let's take a look at this. Jackson's player, Deshaun Hunt.
We came in, folks, we're going to take over the game to try to be out by halftime.
You heard? Jackson represent. All right, and get this. Thomasville's kicker is named Michael White. And he's a better kicker than our morning meteorologist. I can guarantee you that. 3-0. Now Jackson QB Matthew Jordan finds the end zone on a 7-yard quarterback draw. Jackson up 6-3. Thomasville fumble. Jackson picked it up in the end zone. Jackson up 13 to 3, and guess what? Turnovers, the name of the game. Thomasville would fumble again. Jackson's Martez Wheeler recovers for a 12-yard touchdown run. Jackson up 19 to 3. All right, so there you see it in the fourth quarter. Jackson on top 39 to 17, and it looks like Jackson will indeed go to 10-0 on the regular season. Pretty cool. All right, moving on to Mobile Christian at Spanish Fort. Trick or treat, smell my foot. Something else. All right, Toros QB Tyler Johnson finds Samuel Harris. Check out the one-handed grab. Nice work. He'd be brought down there later. Johnson takes the handoff to Braxton Shable, and he's in from 20 yards out. Toros lead 7 to 3. Later, it would be Johnson again. The pump fake, scrambles, and eventually looking for and finding Ladarius Petway for the 26-yard touchdown. 13 to 3 the score at that point, and they would roll 40 to 3 Spanish Fort over Mobile Christian.
Selma's going to be a good football team with a lot of athletes. They've got great size like Viger. They've got a lot of size like Viger. They run the ball downhill at you, and it gives them a really good chance to come in there and control the clock and do the things that they do.
To get ready for the playoffs, I think we have to go back to what we do well. Our opponent, Elba, from what I understand, is very, very athletic. You know, they've won a state championship 2 years ago, so there's a lot of kids on that football team that really know how to win at a high level.
All right, so then here's a look at that 5A playoff bracket. Spanish Fort and Jackson featured. The top-ranked Toros will host Selma in round 1 of the state playoffs. Jackson will host LaFleur after the Rattlers got bumped up following Viger's disqualification this week.
All right, last week Murphy dropped a big rivalry game against McGill-Tulane, but the Panthers still sneaked into the playoffs with the 4th spot in 6A Region 1. Tonight, Murphy traveled to Pritchard to take on Viger. The Wolves originally had a spot in the 5A state playoffs, like Joe just mentioned, but following a disqualification by the Alabama High School Athletic Association, tonight was Viger's last game of the season. So out to Pritchard Stadium we go, and we have Ashley Johnson coaching up his offense here. But Murphy will be getting things done quick, up 20 to 7. And here's DePriest Turner. This kid has some wheels, scrambling, and he would go for a 60-yard gain here in the second quarter, eventually be brought down. Later, Turner now this time to the air to Sam Dixon in the end zone. Panthers would lead there 28 to 7. Later, Devin Adams, Viger quarterback, goes deep to McCants. Keontae McCants there for the score. Panthers would lead 28-13 at the half. Here's a look at the final now. Viger would come back. Joe, look at that. 35-28 in the fourth quarter. We'll be sure to have a final for you coming up.
All right, moving on to Foley at Theodore. Special guest, as you may have seen earlier, Candace Murphy reported on this. Tide linebacker C.J. Mosley at his alma mater tonight watching this. His little bro, Jamie Mosley, the QB outside for the touchdown 7-zip Bobcats. You can see he's number 16 here, kind of limping off after the play, but he would be okay and stay in the game. Foley answers back. The 54-yard bomb. Tyler Cameron to DeMarcus Bingham, 7-all. Then it was Foley driving late in the second. Nice pickup here. Cameron to Tristan Nolan. And then they go to the 1-yard line, and Felix Lewis would punch it in 14-7. Foley, the Bobcats could have used C.J. Mosley in the middle of that defense to stop that play. All right, here we go, though. It is a nail-biter in the fourth. Theodore winning 27-26. So I don't know, maybe C.J. did see that.
Still to come, Daphne closes out their season against a tough Alma Bryant squad. Plus, McGill-Tulane hopes to head into the playoffs with a big win. You're watching First and 10.